What's going on, everybody? We're back with another video. And what would you like to talk about today? What are we talking about today? Can you explain to
Okay, so first we're gonna do the recap of the Thursday night football game between the Chiefs and the Texans, and then we're gonna we're gonna predict the team MVPs for all 32 NFL teams. So let's start with a recap. So Thursday night the Chiefs played the Texans in the first game of the NFL season, according to the COVID NFL season. So the first touchdown was scored by David Johnson, who had a good, not amazing, but good game, with rushing for 77 yards and a touchdown. But the Chiefs came out on top, beating the Texans 34-20. So Mahomes had 3 touchdowns and about over 300 yards, which equates to about 18 points from touchdowns and, let's see here, 30 divided by 2, 15 touches from from yards. So, and then Deshaun Watson had a better fantasy game, but just didn't have a better actual game. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the surprising thing is in our fantasy league, Gavin had Patrick Mahomes, and I have Deshaun Watson, and someone else has Lamar Jackson. But I think that and Deshaun Watson actually had more fantasy points than Patrick Mahomes did.
Yes.
And so I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire has really. What do you think? What's your opinion on him?
So I like him to be the rookie of the year this year. So I also have him in our dynasty league on my reserves. So I want him to have a couple good seasons. But yeah, I definitely think he has to be the leader for rookie of the year because in my opinion, it's going to be a running back because running backs will have a shorter learning curve than, say, quarterbacks or wide receivers, just because there's less to learn. I mean, with quarterbacks, you have to learn all of the entire offensive playbook. So you need to be able to call the plays and then run them. And then wide receivers, you have to be able to, like know what route to run on all the offensive plays, and whether or not you're blocking or whatever.
Yeah. So do you want to move on to predicting MVP for each team?
Yeah. So we're gonna start with the AFC South and then transition over to the NFC South and then just go to each division after that. So starting off with, we're going to give one surprise and then the most likely person. So starting with the Titans. The Titans, in my opinion, the most likely one is an easy one, Derrick Henry. Any disagreement with that for the most obvious?
I'd say that. And for my dark horse, well, it's not really a dark horse, but I'd say the second most likely would be A.J. Brown. But I think if Corey Davis plays like he has in training camp, he could be a pretty high candidate, or even Ryan Tannehill, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, a surprise one would be Johnny Smith.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I mean, I think most people are sleeping on him in fantasy because, I mean, they only see like the big two ones, Kittle and I'm blanking on the name here. Chiefs. Who's the Chiefs one? Kelsey. There we go.
And also Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz is definitely the third one on the list, but then after that,
Mark Andrews.
yeah, I mean,
after those top like 5, everyone just
top
doesn't
5, and then
know.
it's just kind of nobody really knows who to draft.
So they just pick the best player available, and I think Not Lamar Jackson. Johnny Smith is gonna be at the bottom. But I do think he is a really productive tight end who is now the number one tight end on the Titans team. And if you've seen him, and he had a really good postseason for the Titans, and if he can translate that to, the regular season, then I think he'd be another good dark horse for MVP.
Yeah. Also, I feel like if you're in the later rounds, maybe like in a dynasty league, and you're in like maybe say the last round, and you have to fill up your roster. I see no problem with drafting Johnny Smith there because I mean he's a good wide receiver. He was a good wide receiver in the playoffs, and I see no reason why I can't translate that when he's getting first team reps and post in the start of in training camp. So yeah. Moving on to the Texans. So the easy one here, Deshaun Watson. Maybe J.J. Watt if he can play the full season, but I mean quarterbacks are going to get the nod more times than not, just because I mean you're on the field every offensive play. So, and then a surprise one that most people aren't thinking about because it kind of gets overshadowed by how he got here. Is David Johnson. So everybody knows how he got there. Bill O'Brien got him for the low price of an all-pro wide receiver. So I think that David Johnson could definitely be a maybe a top 10 running back if he had a really good season, but definitely top half.
I mean, I do think he's played a lot better this year than last year.
Oh yeah.
I think the Texans, now that he's on pretty much a completely different team, he just needed a change of scenery, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals aren't as good. Their offensive line isn't as good, and so I think that plays a huge factor too.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the Colts. So the easy one here. Actually, do you have an easy one for this?
Colts, I'd have to go with T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
But he is
maybe
getting
Darius
old.
Leonard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I think for dark horse, I'd probably go with Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I mean maybe Zach Moss.
Yeah, Zach Moss.
Steal some reps away.
But they just don't have a lot of players on their team you don't really know.
Yeah.
They're silent, but they can do a lot of damage basically. And actually, let me look up their roster really fast. Who do you think for dark horse? Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, maybe Jonathan Taylor, but
Marlon Mack. I think that's about it, honestly.
Yeah. Maybe Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I could see that, but based on his performance last year, I don't think that would be. I mean, who knows? Maybe he could.
Yeah.
So I guess let's move on to the Jags.
Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is going to be their pick for MVP.
This year?
Yes.
What?
That's their goal for the season, is it not?
Oh, right. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not exactly that good.
Moving on to the AFC. Want to do North now?
Yeah. So, let's start with the Ravens. The Ravens' leading one is easy. It is their fourth string quarterback. No. It's Lamar Jackson, obviously. But one player I think that could be set for a good year is maybe okay. So this is the name you probably haven't heard very much, but this guy called Gus Bradley. He is the third string running back, and I think he was the most underrated player on their team last year, just because it seemed like all 53 of them made it to the Pro Bowl last year. But so yeah,
For me, I would have to say Lamar Jackson, obviously. Or maybe Mark Ingram. One second. J.K. Dobbins. But my dark horse, I would go with either Marquise Brown or Mark Andrews.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
both, I'd say J.K. Dobbins could potentially be a candidate for a Rookie of the Year if he can translate his college game to the NFL. But out of Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews, I'd have to go with Mark Andrews. So yeah. And moving
yeah.
on to the Bengals, what are your takes on them?
The Bengals. Okay. I think that a dark horse. So the easy one is Joe Burrow. So that's the easy one. He's coming in there to save them. So
Mine would
but
probably be AJ Green.
yeah, I think maybe the dark horse could be Higgins. So yeah,
For me, I would have to go with either AJ Green, Joe Mixon, those two, dark horse, Joe Burrow. I'm just not sold on Joe Burrow quite yet. I know he had an unbelievable season last year, but he needs to translate what he did in college to NFL, and if he can do that, I think he's like a top 10 or top 15 or 20 likely to win MVP in my opinion, but they're just, I don't know, the Bengals are a tough team to predict, honestly.
yeah, yeah. So Steelers. So easy pick, Big Ben. He's just comes back off of a torn elbow. I think that if he can play well, maybe get into the playoffs. So yeah.
Mine would be Juju Smith-Schuster. Probably just because he's one of the top wide receivers in the league. Or potentially, let's see, Mika Fitzpatrick. We haven't named
Yeah, that could be a good one. That could be a good one, yeah. So
Okay, let's go to let's see who's
Browns.
next. Browns. I hate to say this, but I can't go with Baker Mayfield, and I can't go with Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham's just a pain on the field or off the field, basically. But for me, I'd have to go Myles Garrett or Nick Chubb.
So let's see here. So an easy pick would definitely be Baker Mayfield, just because so many people. That's the Browns' heralded savior, so that would be the easy pick for me. But a darker horse pick would definitely be. There's this guy on the offensive line. I'm pretty sure he's still here.
Jack
Joel
Conklin?
Bettino.
Oh.
What?
Okay. Oh, no, man.
Joel Bettino,
Mhm.
who has been there since since before they went 0-7 and 0-6 for them. So he's been there for a long time. Oh, also speaking of going 0-16, do you think there will ever, with a 17-game season, do you think there will ever be another? Do you think there will ever be another zero win season or a 0-loss season?
For who? Anyone?
Anyone?
Oh, for sure. I think if there's gonna be a team at least some point, and I think we were talking one day about doing a video on the 0-16 Browns and the 0-16, is it Dolphins? From
Lions.
Lions. We should do that video sometime.
If we
But
can get 50 likes on this video, we'll do that video.
yeah, so let's move on to how about did we just finish
Yeah, we just finished the AFC North.
let's
So
do AFC East, okay.
So we're gonna start off with the Patriots. So the easy pick. I
Cam
most people are
Newton.
saying Cam Newton, but for me the easiest pick is gonna be Stephon Gilmore. So
Yeah.
because he's just really
Hands
good. He
down.
got Defensive Player of the Year last year, and I see no reason why he's gonna be bad.
Yeah, hands
And then-
down, he's the best player on the team. But my dark horse pick for the Patriots, I'd say, would be Sony Michel. If he can play, yeah, I think obviously Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have made him look better than he actually is, but I think he could potentially be a top running back in the league. So that's my dark horse, but it's not very likely at all. But my other dark horse is Julian Edelman.
Okay, so my dark horse. I extremely doubt this is gonna happen this year, but Jarrett Stidham.
Ooh.
So I think that if Cam Newton fails, say he comes out week 1,
Fails
throws
miserably.
for under 100 yards and no touchdowns, say they get shut out. I think that Bill Belichick has to at least give Jarrett Stidham a chance. So, yeah.
Okay, let's go to the Bills now. The Bills, the obvious pick would be Josh Allen or potentially Devin Singletary. I mean, not Singletary. Ed Oliver. But I think out of all of them, I would have to go Trey White. Or not Trey White. Who's this guy that just signed this huge contract? Or is he not on the Bills?
You mean Jalen Ramsey?
No. Oh, never mind. But out of the whole Bills team, I'd have to go Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. I think so. My easy pick would be Tre'Davious White. I think he's pretty underrated, just as a corner goes. But I think for the unsurprising pick might be Devin Singletary because yeah.
Okay, let's go to the Jets. I'd have to go with Le'Veon Bell. I think if he doesn't end up being a bust in New York, we all know he's an explosive player, but he did
When
not
he's
show
good.
when he's good. And if he can show that this year, I think he could be potentially a top running back in the league.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And if it wasn't for opt-outs, I would say C.J. Mosley, but he opted out on the season, so yeah.
And yeah, let's go to the Dolphins. I think out of every player on the team would have to go with Tua if he starts this season, which we all know he will at some point. And if he can come out explosive, it would have to be Tua. Or Kyle Van Noy.
I can see those. I can see that happening. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Let's move on to the AFC West. And
Yep.
let's go to the almighty Chiefs.
Okay, so for the Chiefs, the easy answer is a layup. Patrick Mahomes. I think everybody can see that coming, but I think if we're going for a surprising pick, Mecole Hardman could be an option because I mean if he can get say if he can get 4 kick return touchdowns, he'd be the best returner in the league, far and away. So, yeah.
For me, it's either going to be Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes first, obviously. Tyreek Hill or Sammy Watkins for me.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Okay.
I can definitely see all that happening.
Now to the Broncos. They have Drew Lock. Obviously, Von Miller opted out, so we're not going to include him.
No, he didn't
So
opt out.
Philip Lindsay, I'd say, could potentially be MVP, but out of the whole team. But I'm just not sold on Drew Lock quite yet. He needs to prove himself between a week 1 to week 17. Just needs to show full effort before I'm sold on him.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
Or Jarrell Casey, Noah Fant, or the tight end.
Yeah. But, I don't think he could. I definitely think he could do that.
But my number 1 is Courtland Sutton.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Philip. I think my number 1 would probably be Philip Lindsay because he's already proven that he can be amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, one. Melvin Gordon, who signed with them on the offseason, which was one of the more underrated signings of the offseason.
Yeah,
I don't think he could be it.
If what's his name? If Philip Lindsay can take it downfield and they're like at the say 5-yard line or 1-yard line, between those, he's Melvin Gordon's the guy to go to. He can basically get past all the defenders. So I think it's a good duo.
Yeah.
And for the Raiders, this team, I'd have to go Henry Ruggs, Max Crosby, or Derek Carr if he can turn his career around.
So, yeah, I think number 1 would be Max Crosby. Number 2 might be Clelin Ferrell if he can live up to his draft position. I almost said draft stock there, but he is not worthy of number 4. But and then my dark horse might be Derek Carr or Mariota. I don't think Mariota is a bad quarterback. I just think that he never really had a chance in Tennessee because we had a bad offensive line almost every year. Never really had a ton of wide receiving threats. so Mariota was really forced to run. So
Yeah. I don't think Mariota's gonna play a single game this year. This is just my opinion. If he keeps getting hurt, I'm not sold. And I
yeah,
honestly,
if you say injury free, then I think he could be number one.
and now the Raiders are relying on Derek Carr and Nathan Peterman, who I've never heard of, and they paid this big money for Mariota, and I'm just not. I'm not. I don't think the Raiders are. The main
Wait,
thing
Joe,
they
okay,
just need to go with Derek Carr. They just have to keep him healthy.
okay, the job, like the NFL job. Okay, this just popped in my head. NFL job that I want the most is the Eagles. So there's a thing called the emergency quarterback,
Yeah.
who basically is like you're not even legally allowed to use him. If you use him, you have to no other quarterback can come back into the game. And basically he gets paid like I think it's 16,000 a week to sit at home and do nothing. Because I mean he doesn't have to come to the practice facility. He doesn't have to train. His job is literally to be he's basically the practice squad quarterback.
And you get to go to free games, I guess.
You don't even have to go to the sideline. You can literally just stay at home the whole time.
With the best players in the league, which is pretty awesome. It
Yeah.
could be like your side job. Like, you could
Yeah,
work
it basically
somewhere.
is your side job. And
Yeah.
And the thing is, you don't even have to have another job because you get paid so much.
Yeah, let's go to the last team in the AFC that we have left with the Chargers. And for the Chargers, it would have to be Tyrod Taylor, Keenan Allen, Joey Bosa, or Austin Eckler.
Yeah, I think so. I got one main one, Tyrod Taylor, and then two surprises. So first surprise would be Melvin Ingram. I don't think I think he got paid over the offseason, but I don't think he's going to be very effective. And then also, I think maybe what was I going to say there? Herbert, if he can start maybe over half games, then I think he could be it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, now we're going to go a little faster in the NFC. Let's see, the NFC. Let's start with the NFC East, the Cowboys. This one's a pretty easier team to predict. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, or Zeke for me.
Yeah.
Or
Maybe
Amari
Amari.
Cooper. Yeah. Okay, so I guess, do you have anything else to say about them?
No, not really.
Okay, let's go to the Giants now. The Giants have Daniel Jones. And for me, Saquon Barkley or, yeah, I guess Saquon Barkley is the only guy I trust.
Yeah. And I don't think he could be. He has the skills to be the best running back in the league.
Yeah, he really does, and he's probably the second best or running back in fantasy.
Yeah.
Take
Okay,
us
so
on.
moving on.
Yeah, take
Moving
us on
to
to
the
the next.
Washington football team. I think that Chase Young is the easy pick. And then maybe Dwayne Haskins.
Or Alex Smith if he comes back. He could be the comeback
Yeah.
player of the year, if not MVP.
And I think if he starts, I think if he gets more than 5 passing yards this season, he deserves to be comeback player of the year.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's a no-brainer and I think anyone who's competing for comeback player of the year would understand. Just He's such a great guy, and if he comes back, I think it could be him.
Yeah. I mean, if he actually, if he starts like more than one game, then he's a layup for it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the Eagles. For the Eagles, I think Carson Wentz, Darius Slay, or when Carson Wentz gets hurt, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I can see all those happening. I don't think that Carson Wentz is going to get hurt again this year. It just really depends on where it depends on where if Jalen Hurts is to get team MVP, just because if he gets hurt week 16 and they're out of the playoffs, then Jalen Hurts has no chance. But say he gets hurt week 4, then it's pretty easy, and he performs really well, then yeah.
Okay, moving on to the NFC West. The Cardinals. Cardinals, I have either DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray, Larry Fitzpatrick, or even Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, I like all those picks. I don't have anything else, so.
Yeah. Okay, for the Rams, just keep at this pace. Cam Akers, Jared Goff, Aaron Donald, which would be my number 1, and yeah, that's about it. I'm not saying Jalen. I don't think Jalen Ramsey. I mean, I'd say Jalen Ramsey too, honestly.
Yeah.
But for MVP, I think that's a stretch. Okay, 49ers. Jimmy, obviously. George Kittle was my number 1. Raheem Mostert, possibly Nick Bosa. But my dark horse is probably Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah, I like those. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
For the Seahawks, we have the Russell Wilson, obviously Jamal Adams, and honestly, DK Metcalf.
I like those. I mean, I think Russell Wilson is the easy choice, and then yeah.
Okay, or Josh Gordon. So let's move on to the NFC North. We're almost done here. For the Bears, I'd say Mitch Trubisky or Jimmy Graham or Kalia or Mac.
You actually think that Trubisky could actually win it?
I do, because they saw something in training camp that made Trubisky over Foles, which is crazy to think about, but I'd have to go with Trubisky or David Montgomery.
Yeah, I can see those. Nagy did announce that he was gonna be the starter week 1. So
yeah. Moving on to the Lions, their players DeAndre Swift, Matthew Stafford, and Adrian Peterson. I think he's a new pickup for the Lions right now.
yes, he got signed a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, let's go to. Sorry, this is a pretty long video, but we just wanted to get through these. For the Packers, obviously the easiest one would be Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, or Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I think my pick would be Aaron Rodgers, just because it's the mad Aaron Rodgers. I don't think there's anybody that's going to stop him. Jordan Love is going to not play for 3 years. Aaron Rodgers is going to retire is going to retire then unretire 3 times in that. Aaron Rodgers is going to ask for a trade to the Bears, the Packers, or the Lions. Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded to an AFC East team, so the Patriots, the Jets, the Bills, or the Dolphins. Get cut after, get released on a 1-year contract, get released after that, and sign with one of the NFC North teams that's not named the Packers.
That'd be pretty funny.
Mark my words.
Okay. Now, I guess we are left with the Vikings in the NFC North. Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins, and honestly, those are the only 2 guys. But my dark horse is Tajay Sharp. Maybe with a change of scenery. He was already a good wide receiver in Tennessee, but maybe with the change of scenery and with different coaches, he could – this is very unlikely, but he could probably win MVP. But
yeah, I can see that. I'd say he is the second or third best running back in the league.
I'd say third. Wait, Tajay Sharp?
No, I'm running back in Dalvin Cook, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say. Okay, what do you have? What else?
Yeah, I mean, that's all I really have for them, so.
Okay. Let's go on to the last division, the NFC South. Oh, now we have the Falcons. And I'd say Todd Gurley, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, and Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, I like Matt Ryan here, so I like Matt Ryan here just because I think he can have a bounce-back season.
Mm-hmm. Or potentially Julio Jones.
Yeah, I think Julio Jones could definitely do it, so.
Yeah, let's go on to the Panthers. The obvious choice would be Christian McCaffrey. But I do think Teddy Bridgewater could come out and destroy the league, which is very unlikely, but I do think it could happen. And my other one is Derek Brown, the rookie, the big guy. I think, when was he drafted? What round? Or, I mean, what overall? When overall? Hello? You there, Gavin?
Christian McCaffrey's the easy one. Then it is who am I forgetting? Oh, Bridgewater next, and then thirdly, it would be Derek Brown. Yeah.
All right. Now let's move on to let's move on to the Saints. This is another obvious team. Could either be Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, which is the obvious one, or possibly Emmanuel Samuels, but that's very unlikely because they already have Michael Thomas.
So I think that Michael Thomas is the easy one. Then a close second would be Breeze, and then my really dark horse is James Winston. So
yeah, I could see that. Okay, or I'd say if he gets hurt, then Jameis Winston could be comeback player of the year. But
yeah.
Okay, for Buccaneers, this is the last team. Tom Brady, obviously. Rob, I don't see Rob winning MVP, but if we're just going over like the best players that could, I'd say Rob. I can't say Leonard Fournette, but out of all the wide receivers, I mean, I'd say Mike Evans or Chris Godwin.
Yeah, easy pick for people would be Brady because the goats coming to Tampa. So.
Oh, and by the way, Ryan Suckup plays for the Bucks now.
Oh, he does. Oh, didn't hear that.
Yeah. All right, that wraps up this video. If you're still watching, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see that video we were talking about earlier, the 0-16 Browns versus the 0-16 Lions, and who would win. With game score, player of the game, everything like that. Get us to 50 likes. Did you say?
Yeah. And what we're gonna do, okay? So every week we're gonna record a video on Fridays. Probably post it either Friday night or Saturday morning. Then we're gonna do a live stream on Saturdays from 3 to 4. And then on the video, if we can get 50 likes by the time Wednesday comes around, we'll do an extra video that week. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.
Wait. I think comment question.
Okay.
Would you ever drop a prediction video on Wednesdays or the Friday of the week before?
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah.
See you.